Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode 367, I think. Don't actually know. I think it's 367. Just wanted to welcome you into this, what will be an amazing week should you choose it to be an amazing week. Now, there have been, there's been a lot of stuff going on over this weekend, right? And I think that hello Manna, I know I'm not only speaking for myself, but a lot of other people I've been talking to, friends, family, hey Ash, clients, just people in general. Hello Tani. You know, apparently there's a virus going around, and it's creating a whole lot of panic. It's creating a lot of hysteria. And I thought that I would share with you a couple of ways that you can just come back and be really calm, really grounded, and eliminate some of the stress, right? Kristen, it will be an amazing week. Absolutely it will be, no matter what is going on. And I think one of the things that is really, really important, you know, there's been all of this talk about distancing ourselves from other humans and this type of thing, and I think that's actually really smart. A girlfriend of mine messaged me. We talked. She didn't message me. She actually voice messaged me. There's this really great app called Marco Polo. If you don't have it, download it. It's free, and you can video chat back and forth. It's a little bit like a walkie-talkie. It's like Rockstar, but with video. So we send each other video messages like literally every day, at least once a day, sometimes more than that, depending on what's going on. And she said, Nicola, finally, you know, she said I had empathy for your situation, like for where I live. But she said in terms of the isolation, she said, wow, I really had no idea. And I think it really kind of, thinking about the way that we can, this is not about capitalizing on other people, right? I'm really grateful that I've got an online business. I'm really freaking grateful that no matter what is happening, I can still talk to my clients. You know, I'm teetering on the brink of postponing a live event that I'm running up here next week. I'm waiting on the rest of this week to kind of pan out. I've got the national tour happening in May that I'm just kind of like, I don't know how that's going to go. But other than that, like my whole business is built online. And I think like for something that I've always found is that I've always felt particularly isolated up here. And it's just kind of part and parcel of living in the middle of nowhere. So it was really interesting to have that kind of reflected back. And I thought, yeah. A lot of the anxiety that I know people are experiencing from what I've been told, take the virus part out, but look more at your business, right? Most of you have businesses or you want to have businesses, and you know I guess a lot of the anxiety and a lot of the stress comes in. Well, you know, what if people stop buying? What if they don't buy? What if I go and do this thing and it doesn't happen? You know, I've built my whole business. This is what some people think. I've built my whole business up on having people come into me and see me in the room and see me live and doing the things like then and there. And they get really stressed and worried and concerned and anxious about what might happen. So the first thing that you can do to just really help with reducing some of that is know that you're going to be okay, right? There are always things that happen that force us to pivot, change, whatever. And I'm not talking about medically, I'm talking about in your business. Things will be okay. And part of the reason that I know this and I've seen it, we've seen it through the GFC, you know, people come through, they're always, there's always opportunities should you look for them. And I think one of the things that you really, really can do is rather than thinking, like you want to stop any spiral thinking that has you coming back down in here, right? Hey, Georgina, you know, anything that, yes, we are experiencing a toilet paper shortage. Kristen, yeah, it's really diabolical. It's really quite interesting. We are not in that position personally. We've got subscriptions and we buy who gives a crap, and so we've got oodles of toilet paper. Some people are not quite so fortunate. So I think the thing that we've got to do though is like, if you imagine that you're here, right? And generally, like I know if you guys are following me, there is a frequency that we tend to operate on, which is a really resourceful frequency, right? Let's say that it's here. Let's say it's like at a level 5 type frequency. And I'm making this up on the spot. This is not based on some scale system or something that I've learned. This is just me going, right, let's assume that you're on a 5 normally. And then what happens when you're normally on that 5 level, which is pretty high vibe, you know, we look for the positives in things. We're really resourceful in the way that we think. We're generally cool, calm, collected, and we can look at things objectively. When stuff like this happens, if we're feeling like we've got a little bit of a chink in our armor, we can kind of come down a little bit, and that's where you end up like down, a bit more down here. And then something else might happen, and it's easier for that thinking to kind of spiral down and almost out of control. And that's when fear really takes hold. So the thing that you really need to be aware of is, number one, you've got to be super aware of what's going on in your head. Okay, so am I thinking about this because am I being logical in my approach, or am I letting my emotions get the better of me? So, you know, stop the thoughts in their tracks. The next thing that I think that is really wise to do is to limit the amount of scrolling you're doing on Facebook. Right? Unless it's looking at me, but you're not going to scroll to do that. You're going to come and find me, right? So if you are like, I noticed it yesterday. So I've been away at a roller derby weekend, which was so amazing. And it was allowed to still proceed because we had less than 500 people, and we all, that's what happened. So it was the most amazing thing. But yesterday I had a little bit of time while I was sitting in my chair watching the games. Every now and again, like I find myself scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, wow, corona fear, corona fear, corona fear, corona fear, corona fear. Like every second post is this, oh, we've heard this and we've heard that, and then this is what's really going on. No, this is what's really going on. And I could feel myself, and I'm usually really good at just kind of going like, that's I'm not accepting of this. I don't want to, I'm not going to buy into the fear mongering. I could feel myself getting more anxious, right? And so the thing that you've really got to do is go, well, hang on, hold on, stop your thoughts in their tracks, minimize the amount of exposure that you're having to this type of news. Be smart about it, but don't sit there sitting there scrolling, looking through your feed endlessly, trying to find the next bit, the next tidbit, the next bit of advice, the next bit of thing. This is the same type of fear and anxiety in our bodies that I think a lot of us felt with when the fires were happening, right? And then the floods, where we're just like, oh my gosh, you know, there's another fire, holy shit. And then you don't think it can get any worse. Then, oh my God, there's another fire, holy shit. So it's been a really rough, you know, start to the year. So the thing that you've got to do is just be really aware of your thoughts. Minimize the visual exposure with how much information you're taking in. Know who you're listening to, right? I think this is a really important point with everything is know who you're listening to. Are these people who you are listening to and who you are watching, are they sharing facts? Are they sharing speculation? Are they feeding into the conspiracy theories and fears? You know, is it really information that you need to have in your head, right? And know that it's a trusted source. And then the fourth thing that I really think that you can actually do is go, look, how can you mitigate what's going on, right? How can you mitigate what's going on? And to me, one of the things that you can do with that is get back into service. So here's where like the businessy piece comes in 2 seconds. Georgina found us feeling that too last night after teen to outdoor ed was cancelled, and then squash tournament's been cancelled. Yeah, we found all of our basketball tournaments have been cancelled for the season. All the training's been cancelled for the season. We've just actually lost our venue this morning for roller derby training, which is just really devastating because that's done at a school. So yeah, like I hear you, Georgina, and that's kind of like what I was thinking this morning. Is like, okay, well, you know, this stuff's going on, and if I've been feeling a little bit like, you know, a bit more about it, then, you know, I'm sure that for a lot of you who are normally really calm, level-headed, logical humans, but also sensitive to energy, right, that you might be feeling a little bit more spinning. And I think the thing that as well that I've been thinking about with this is it's kind of, it's almost a little bit hard to kind of talk about it again, right? Because everybody's got a freaking opinion on it and about how bad it's going to be or how not bad it's going to be. And yeah, trying to manage your kids with all of this. We've had conversations this morning with our children. We've actually got our children home from school today. One's got a bit of a sore throat. Reckons he's got a scratch from a piece of popcorn or something. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe you can stay home if you're not feeling 100%. And I think the thing is that it's about having these conversations. And actually another thing that I was thinking, I haven't sort of felt this anxiety and uncertainty about the world since probably the Gulf War. Like, I remember my dad being in the RAF and being kind of afraid, and so like about what might happen and about how bad it was going to be. And I had some of that rising up in me yesterday. I'm like, this is really shit. This is really bad. So what I've been working on is just going, okay, is this helpful? Who am I listening to? Minimize the exposure to all of the stuff, to all of the news, because we know that we will be told, we will find out if something needs to happen. Somebody will communicate in some way if things need to happen. Yeah, I agree, Kristen. Yeah, I'm not generally I don't generally look at that stuff either, and it's kind of interesting. My daughter's also a senior, and they're threatening prom and graduation. Oh no, it's just hard, isn't it? It's just hard. It's really uncertain times. So I think the thing that we can all do is go, all right, well, we've got all of this stuff swirling around over here, and there are some things that we want to just pick and choose what we take in, what we listen to, what we pay attention to, and be smart about it. And I think this is the thing, right? We've got to be smart about what we do. And it's not about saying, this is not ever going to happen to me, because you know what, it might. Let's face it, like we've seen the way that it's kind of blown out. If all the statistics are correct and everything else is, if it's happening the way that they all say that it's happening, that it's just going to, get bigger. And so we can be smart about what we take away. And most importantly, we can control our state. We can control how we feel. And part of that is really making sure that we're minimizing a lot of that noise that is feeding in and fueling the fear. So how do we do this? How do we use these types of situations to be helpful? Well, for me, the thing that I'm thinking, and you guys know I've been running an online business since 2010. So the thing, oh, thank you, Kristen, that's gorgeous. The thing for me is like, well, we can go into panic mode, or we can look at it as getting into service, as well as making that work for us as well. So we all know that there are people out there who need whatever it is that you do. So you might be a coach, you might be a health practitioner, you might be a mental health professional, you might be a personal trainer, you might be a sports coach, you could be like anything, an author, a bookkeeper, I don't know, who else have we got? An educator, a tutor. You could be helping children with their learning. You could be, hey Kim, you could be doing anything, any number of those things. And perhaps typically you might do those things in person. There is no reason whatsoever that you can't do this stuff online. For about 18 months, I trained with a personal trainer through Skype. I worked out like right in here in my office on the floor. She was on the computer that was up on the desk, and she trained me while I was doing the things like in my office. We just had the camera on. So maybe this is where we're kind of being forced to, due to circumstances, we're really being forced to look at how we can do things a little bit differently. So keep inspiring your audience, create content. Be on video, be the leader, be the person who is saying, like what we're doing today. I really feel a sense of responsibility a lot of the time to show up and talk about the things that are going on so that you can get out of your own way and, go and do those things. right? So it might be about creating content. It might be inspiring people. I could type it and that's fine, but it's one thing to kind of say, you need to get out there and, do all the things and blah, 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 blah. But if I'm not showing up for you, makes it hard for you to show up for your people. So get out there and be of service. The other thing that does for you is it enables you to really kind of step in and step up as well and solve some problems for people. You can still sell, right? And I know that some of you are like, no one's going to buy. There will still be people who will buy from you. This is a really great time, particularly like if your audience are in isolation, or if they are working from home, or if they've got their kids home, or whatever it is that they're doing. People's brains are still hungry to learn. People still have problems, right? They're still bored, tired, overweight, underweight, unhappy, having marriage crumbling down. They've still got anxieties. They've still got things that they want to do. They still don't know stuff. They still want to be educated. They're hungry for the arts. I saw a post today, which I was like, oh, that's really awesome. That there's art galleries. I didn't know this. There are art galleries around the world that offer virtual tours from the comfort of your own home to be able to go and experience the art in the art galleries. I think that is freaking amazing. So we still need your version of the way that you do things, right? If you're funny, get out and be funny. If you're an entertainer, get out and entertain. If you've got capacity to move someone one step forward with what you do, then you've kind of got a duty of care to be that person for those people, for your audience, and they are looking for it. They are looking for consistency. In times of uncertainty, what you guys know what you look for, right? When things are a clusterfuck of shitness, what do you look for? You look for something to grab onto. You look for something that helps you feel calm, that helps you feel certain, that helps you feel like, the whole entire world isn't going to hell in a handbasket. Right? We look for something to grab onto, and the thing that your audience could grab onto is your consistency. So people have we've got their 6 core human needs, right? And certainty is one of them. It's a huge one. So what happens is that people get all scared and afraid and things like that. And it feeds uncertainty. So what they really need is they need to see someone who is really, really solid, not only certain in their message, but really consistent as well, because they will look to you for the voice of reason. They will look to you for inspiration. They will look to you for motivation, and they will look for you to be able to kind of move, to be able to take that step forward and move forward. I trust that makes sense and that helps. I'll get into that in a second. So I think the thing that's really important is that we have a look at, okay, well, rather than going, how can we look at pivoting, adapting, and changing and morphing into perhaps what might be a slightly different new way of delivery for you? And one of the things that I've worked a lot with is obviously with video, and you will all know that Video Rockstar is something that I'm really, really passionate about. We do start next Monday, and it is all about how to use video in your marketing, how to be consistent, how to show up, give you some structure so that you can really get this consistent piece of content creation down, which, I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, if you guys aren't able to head out, then or if you are, then there's a really great way. There's all of the excuses are kind of annihilated as to why you can't do this. And what I've decided to do is part of Video Rockstar, and I haven't added it anywhere yet. I'm just letting you guys know first, because I thought that would be nice. I'm also going to throw in the how to create your own online course. So you've got the how to create your online course, and you've got Video Rockstar. So you've got both of those two things combined. So you can keep going and you can keep reaching clients. You can keep making money. You can keep doing the things out there in the online world that you are, that you're here to do, particularly if you're impacted in not being able to deliver in person. All right, Kristen, quick question. How much does Australia rely on goods from China? We're in a weird frenzy transition away from that. Yeah, a lot. Our ports are still open though. And we are up until earlier this morning, I believe that we are still exporting as well as still importing. The trouble is going to be, I think, that, you know, if and when the ports get closed, that there's going to be a bit of an impact on that. So I think it's a big turbulent time for a lot of industries. My husband's involved in the agriculture sector, fresh produce sector, in quite a big way. And we were talking about it this morning with how if there's no containers coming in, then there's no containers to put our exports into to be able to ship, right? So if the ports get closed, you know, fuck, it's just a lot of, it's a really challenging time. My daughter is in the service industry, restaurants. Any advice for them? Oh golly, just be a nice human. Like as a consumer, be a nice human. Do that. I don't know the answer to that. I would be really, like the conversations that I've had with my daughter is have a look at ways that you can be of service, be helpful, and still find work whilst minimizing risk. You know, it's challenging times. And I think the other thing for all of you actually is that if you don't already have an online business, then it's a great fucking time to start. I mean, you might be I was chatting on the weekend to some people who are knitters and sewers, right? And I know that there's a lot of resources out there, but you could create a knitting group. You could create a sewing group. You could, like, if that's something that you're really good at, you could create a how to DIY cocktails at home. It could be how to make vodka from potatoes. I don't know. Is that even a thing? I don't know if that's even a thing. I think what we're being really called to do, to me, is that we're really, as humans, we've got to look for a way that we are able to still do what we do, but perhaps just in a slightly different way. And what I mean by doing what we do is inspiring, motivating, educating, training, supporting, healing, counseling, like whatever it is that you do, there's got to be a way that you can keep doing that. It might just be that you've got to pivot a little bit, or adapt and adjust, which is, you know, what everybody needs to do in times of change. So there you go, my friends. That is that. I will pop in the link in here now. Any other questions that I can answer for you? It's I will be on every morning, as you know. I will be here because that's what I do. Like I promise you that I will not always be talking about the corona because, you know, how boring. But I thought after, like, we've been oh, that's not right, Nicola. Oh my gosh. You know, it's /video, nicolamoras.com.au/video. I'll edit that later. And you will get that free how to create your own online course as a bonus to Video Rockstar as well, which is amazing. I was in the shower just before jumping on here and I'm like, yeah, I really need to give you guys that. So you will absolutely get that. So that is that. What else did I want to say to you? I think that's probably about it. This is it. It is, how is Australia healing from the fires? Really slowly. My opinion, like, we have not been geographically impacted by fires. I know a lot of people, it's like a 2 degrees of separation thing. I know a lot of other people have been really impacted and they're still displaced. So there's a lot of people who have lost their homes, who are still living in temporary accommodation and things like that, which is really, really hard. But I was chatting to some of my teammates who traveled through some of the fire impacted regions over the weekend to actually get to our roller derby competition. And they were saying it's really, the devastation is huge, but they're starting to see the greenery kind of come back in. So you've got these black trees with green I'm gonna say green fireworks coming out. So from an environmental perspective, you know, it's fires are like a big cleanse, you know, things are coming back. But for the people who have lost homes and things, it's really fucking hard. Because so many people are in temporary accommodation. So, you know, as if everybody doesn't have enough to deal with, and then you get, you know, corona thrown all over us. So yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. I speak on behalf of all Australians, of everybody who's impacted. Prayers for everyone, actually, and that's a really good point. You know, I think the thing that we all need to be mindful of is we saw how the world, you know, all came together when like all of that shitstorm kind of, you know, hit. And we've just got to remember that, you know, we're all part of one big community. Yeah, we might be physically distancing, but make sure, and this is the other thing I think that's really important with like what we're talking about with online courses and, you know, doing your videos and things like that. There are a lot of people who have not lived the way that I live every day. Like the way that I live every day is like literally I work from home in the middle of nowhere. Like I'll duck out to the shops and stuff, but you know, I don't see groups of people very regularly at all. So I think the thing that we've really got to remember is that there are a lot of people who are really scared and will be feeling particularly isolated because it's not something that they're used to, right? So, you know, make sure you're being kind to people, reach out to people, let them, you know, make sure they're okay. You don't have to go and see them and have coffee if you're not doing the in-person stuff, but you can hop on the phone. You know, you can hop on Skype. You can do group, like, and this is some of the stuff we'll talk about in the course. It's like you can still have like online rooms, and this is part of the reason why one of my besties, Joe, and I will video chat every morning, and often through the day. We'll video chat in, like I was talking about, it's an app called Marco Polo, and we leave video messages for each other, you know, throughout the course of the day and every day. And it helps, like that helps to feel like, then like I feel like she's not so far away. She's a 12-hour drive away. So for me, that really helps. And I think we forget that when we're, for me anyway, like I'm used to living like this, but there are a lot of people who are not. So make sure you reach out, check on your people, and let them know that you care. The trees are beautifully fluffy. They are, Georgina, I agree. All right, you guys, so get out there, go be awesome, go help some people, be amazing, and do all of the awesome things. We've got Video Rockstar open up for registration now, nicolamoras.com.au/video, with that bonus, how to create your own online course training that will be part of that as a super fabulous bonus. All right, get out there, go help some people. Have a whole ton of fun doing it, and remember that the world is so ready and actually we need your brand of awesomeness out there. Take care. I will talk to you tomorrow, if not before.